Yep.
This is the Shacknews Award for Best Art Style of 2020.
I'll let Blake expand on this, but my vote for this category is definitely Ghost of Tsushima. The art direction is just gorgeous. This was a really stacked category this year, but Ghost of Tsushima is just beautiful. And the integration of the art and the gameplay, such as the way the wind passes over the vegetation to kind of guide you, is awesome.
So the leaf tech.
The leaf tech is that's just leaf porn. Like
it's
very
great. Solid leaf tech.
It is.
Out of all the games that came out this year, some of the best leaves, and just still some of my favorite just scenes in a game. Like there's like set pieces, you know, like when you're going into like a fort or something, and you're like walking, and you're like, wow, or like after one of those like showdowns on like a bridge or something. There's just a lot of moments where you're just kind of taken back by it.
Yeah, this is like
go to the art in the game for sure.
Photo mode was invented for this game. I've made good use of it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I will say that it's probably one of the best PS games I've ever seen, just from an art style perspective.
Somehow looks even better on the PS5.
Yeah. I just call it. You heard me just call it PS now. Like I'm not even gonna.
Yeah. I'm playing on PS5 as well, Blake, and yeah, it's a looker.
Yeah, no, just the different colors, like the color palettes of the different areas and the leaves and how that plays into the game. And I don't know. I think a lot of. I think you really have to, like I mentioned it before, but there's a tranquil aspect to this game that you don't see in other games, especially ones as violent as this. You know, it's not like Batman ever takes a moment to have tea with Alfred or anything like that. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's something to be said about a game that can have these very visually intense moments and themes, and then also have moments where you just meditate and reflect upon the beauty of the environment. And I really feel like adding those aspects really drives home just how much effort and detail was put into this world and how gorgeous it looks. I'm also super biased. And then the fact that like you have another entire mode, you have Kurosawa mode, which is a completely different style to begin with. Like they really went in, they worked with like his family, they worked with his estate in order to really nail down the visual styles of his films. And it's more than just adding a black and white filter. It's more than adding a film gradient. Like there is a depth of detail and shading in his films and a clearness, a vibrance to them as well that really comes across when you play in that mode. And it's just flat out like the beginning area has a lot of dynamics to the different environments, but it's very lush. And then you go into the second area and there's like Swamp of Sorrow areas, like you would find in other games where like forests have been razed, things are kind of ashy and smoky, like things have burnt down. There's like villages that are in states of disrepair. There's huge gorgeous temples that you can visit and cities that are still intact. There's towers that let you climb and see the environment. There's beachheads that are gorgeous to just look at to begin with. Like there's so much beauty in this game. I could talk about it all day. Like it's hard to find anything that isn't awe-inspiring visually in that game.
I'm going to go to bat for Demon Souls here. The remake. This is one of the points at which I feel like they really knocked it out of the park with this game. Yes, they had something to build upon, but if you go back and look at the character models and the environments from 2009, they look like a game from 2009. They have not aged well, in my opinion. They're not bad, but they haven't aged well, in my opinion. Demon Souls for PS5 takes everything that was in that 2009 game and boosts it to a whole new level. The character textures and armor that you get up in the game, the weapons, they're so good. Like, the Sword of Searching looks so good. I love that weapon. The monsters look terrifying. Like, what was once just like a smooth-bellied blob with the Adjudicator is now a gross, like, textured, like, he's like this giant fat monster that was like smooth in the original, and he's like textured and like rough looking in Demon Souls. The storms and the Storm Temple, where like you have all these giant demonic manta rays floating around, like the storm clouds, like you can see the lightning crossing through them, and just like the clouds swirling.
To piggyback on that real quick, TJ, I didn't realize this until I saw someone stream, and then I played and paused for myself. Every raindrop in that boss battle is individually animated. So like when you swing the storm ruler to rend the sky, as it says, you can actually see individual drops just going every which way. It's just really, really cool.
And then like stuff I showed on stream, like when you go to Stonefang Keep and you look out over the cliffside and you see a fully realized like desert castle in the distance. There are several places like that where you step out and you can see a vast stretch of land that like really didn't appear as much in the original. Like they fully realized these environments to a degree that's just incredible. And then like even like I hinted at, there are some like disgusting graphics in this game, like the swamp. It is literally like you are walking through the world's latrine, and the poop water in that game is just heinous looking. Everything from the beautiful to the macabre in this game is just amazingly well done. And also best dragons. Dragon God is amazing looking. Even the regular dragons are amazing looking. Best dragon game.
I didn't think I'd have a chance to talk about this game a second time, but yeah, Paper Mario: The Origami King is, I mentioned before, is flawed as an RPG. But if there's one thing I can't argue with it about, it's, man, the art style is just amazing. And just going back to like that foundational Paper Mario texture of like, you know, you got like the brightly colored paper stuff, and like it's all like cartoon looking, and it looks gorgeous. That's not what makes the Origami King really stand out. It's the contrast of that world and the origami stuff. Like there's origami things everywhere, and like part of the story is, of course, like they take the little paper guys in the world and they fold them up into evil origami creatures. And the stark difference between like what's paper and what's origami is just so striking. Mm-hmm. And it gets even more striking when you start to like compare it to like the stuff that looks like real world objects. And I've made fun of the concept before, like the whole stationary thing, where it's just like, the bosses are a tape dispenser and a stapler. It's like, you're just naming stuff you see in your desk, don't you? But the way that stuff looks in comparison to like all the paper objects and even the origami objects, the way that Nintendo's managed to pull that off, that's no mean feat. And I was absolutely stricken by the art style in Origami King.
Yep. No, didn't like the game, but I did like the art style, Ozzy. I'll give you that.
There's a lot to like about Origami King. I've said it before, I just wish it was a better RPG. That's the only thing.
Mm-hmm. What else do we got from nominees?
Anybody? All right, so Ghost of Tsushima it is. Cool.
No one mentioned Hades?
We can go into Hades. I mean, the art style that they use for Hades is it's unlike any.
We could just give it to Ghost of Tsushima.
I would talk about Hades, but I'm not good at talking art styles as a very, very colorblind man who can just look at something and go, "That's pretty."
Yeah. No, I will. I'll talk to it.
Thank you.
As someone who, I suck at this game. I'm not doing very well. I enjoy it. I haven't had enough time to really master it, and I will go back to play it more. I tend not to do well at roguelikes anyway, but the character design in this game.
When you talk to anybody, the characters that you see on the bottom left just jump out at you.
It's like,
it's with the level of detail.
Yeah, insane level of detail. And here's just an anecdote. My brother's pretty much legally blind. He doesn't play many video games as a result. He doesn't have much of a peripheral vision. So I have to be really careful when I suggest games to him, because not every game's going to work with his limited vision. Hades works perfectly, and it's part of the art style. Even when you're in a dark area, a dark room or a dark setting, it's actually not that dark. It's not, it's not hard to see. I feel like it's a super vibrant world that they created. I love the colors they use, the reds in the game, or the purples. Like there's just the color palette in Hades is delightful, and it's this balance of cartoony or comic booky, but still like that looks like Dionysus, or that looks like Poseidon, or that looks like Athena, or I feel like they did this amazing job of balancing what traditional Greek god art would look like with this new take. And then obviously that expands into the voice acting and all these other things, but just the art style alone I think is really damn impressive. Even the settings, I can't remember when you go under, there's like an underworld, like I don't know, I can't remember what his name is. It's like the nihilist Arby's of Hades. You know what I'm talking about? Like there's the guy.
Charon?
The guy?
Charon, yes.
Charon, okay.
That world, I love the art style in that world. Like it's supposed to be kind of a void, but it still feels very full of color. And
there's always something to appreciate with those characters.
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about chaos.
Chaos!
Oh, okay.
Chaos. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, there's always something to appreciate in terms of the level of detail for each character. TJ and I mentioned it earlier, but like, for example, when you look at Nyx, you see the cosmos like through her hair. Like that level of detail is just like incredible.
It's insane, Ozzy, and that's what I mean. Like just little things that you see in each, and sure, they're still character images, but they're talking to you and you're reading them and you see them over and over as you play through the roguelike. Like it's outstanding. It's really, it's one of the things that like, it made it stand out over other roguelikes to me. Because there's like a little polish that other games don't have.
You can also like say that like the detailed art is stills, but like if you look at the characters themselves, they have animations as they're speaking with you that like have funny little reactions. Like when you pet Cerberus and one of the heads like lifts up and the other does like a little shiver shake. It's just kind of funny seeing those things. There's a lot of big details, little details. Everything makes that game pop.
So like, I mean, speaking of, I think the thing is here, I'm a huge fan of Greek mythology, and I know there's some of the unlikely in here, but I don't think I got that theme of Greek mythology in that because it's so stylized, and that's not a bad thing, but I think their use of color is what made it stand out over everything else. Because when you take out the color, you just have like, your standard Greek thing with like animated, but they do this thing called opposites, right? Where like on the color wheel, you go to the exact opposite and you pick that color, and it's supposed to clash with the color, and you're not supposed to do that. Like it's a weird thing that you normally do when you're picking out color schemes in like films and animated movies and stuff like that. But they did that here, and it worked. And it not only worked from a visual aesthetic point, it worked from a gameplay point as well, which is crazy. I've never seen so many blues and oranges, like red and greens, like everything like opposite colors just works so well in a game like this. But at the same time, though, like I never stopped and said, "Oh, this looks gorgeous," and just kind of put my controller down for like 5 minutes and just look. I've done that in Ghost of Tsushima several times. I'm like, I'm in a new area now. Fair. Everything's yellow. What the fuck? And I have to stop and just swivel the camera around.
Art style doesn't have to be jaw-dropping graphics. It has to be working within whatever game style that you've created, with the right tool set. And I think Hades does that in spades. I think Ghost of Tsushima does too. But I thought we would be remiss to not mention Hades in this conversation.
I mean, fair enough. I don't know. I definitely think Ghost of Tsushima takes it to a level higher than what Hades does, though, honestly. Does anyone else have nominations, though?
I do. I just wanted to put in a quick nomination for Paradise Killer. For me, personally, when it comes to art style, it's not just about visual fidelity, how like detailed a tree is or whatnot. It's about, as Arthur's just said, like what can you do within the game that you've got, and which is why something like 2018's Return of the Obra Dinn, with its single dot pixel art style was fantastic, and which is why Paradise Killer, which is this, it's got this vaporwave aesthetic running through its veins. And if you're a fan of that, like Miami Beach, pinks and blues, they've nailed it, absolutely nailed it. And I would implore you all to just have a look at Paradise Killer when you get the chance, because it's really worth looking at. It's not gorgeous like you would say Red Dead Redemption 2 or Ghost of Tsushima, in that it's got a lot of fidelity, but it's just, yeah, they nail that vaporwave aesthetic.
Mm-hmm. A lot of pinks and purples and fuchsias in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look good. I got a couple of nominations. The first one's more of just a honorary mention, I guess. But a little indie game came out earlier this month called Haven. And it has this very watercolor-esque art style that just reminds me a lot of Journey and some of those other games that developers like that have put out. And it's just really, really pretty. The direction of the character models themselves, the direction of the world as you explore it, like everything just looks really, really pretty as you move through it. And it
looks
just
like
gives
an anime.
It does kind of have like some anime-ish qualities to it, but just looks really good. But my main nomination here is Spiritfarer. I spoke a little bit about on this one on the narrative side of things, but Spiritfarer does this really good job of bringing you into this really cozy and beautiful, just relaxing world, and all of the hand-drawn art design just looks really, really good. From the character models, the people that you come across, to the way that the water moves as your ship floats through it, and even to the way that the storms look when it's lightning and raining and everything. Everything about the game looks really, really good and really crisp, and it just gives off this really nice vibe that fits well with the kind of gameplay loop that you're going through. And I think that they really brought something special both with the message and the art of the game. So
nice. I see Cyberpunk here, so who wants to talk about Cyberpunk?
I wrote Cyberpunk on there. Late edition for me, but just can't see it without just being wowed by everything that's there in the city. Each neighborhood and small section has got its own vibe. Each club that you go into is wildly different from the next. The amount of trash out on the streets and all that stuff make it feel lived in when the buggy ass pedestrians fail to do that job. Adding in the desert sections, which gives a whole different vibe. And then just the fidelity on top of it. Everywhere you're at, it only takes a quick turn of the mouse until you're seeing some sort of image that would have been a couple years back, something that would have taken a digital artist hours to attempt to recreate or pull the vibe from. Just anything done in photo mode it's just shocking to me. I didn't expect it to look as good as it does, and was surprised that they undersold so much of how it was going to look compared to the pre-release videos they put out and stuff like that. How much better it actually looks when you're playing, which just never happens anymore. It's like the reverse of Watch Dogs. I spend at least half my time in the thing taking screenshots just because every part of it's wild, especially in the stuff where there's strict direction of what's going on, where you're not directly in control of the view, or you're put into situations where you don't have much to look at other than where your character's been placed, like during the main quest or in side quest. And just everything about it is just oozes vibe. So I felt like throwing that on there.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's everything. Ori looked nice too.
Ori was gorgeous, but
we're gonna vote, right? We're voting.
there's just too much gorgeousness this year.
It's like American Beauty. There's too much beauty in the world.
Just too many plastic bags floating around being filmed by teenagers trying to get laid.
That's right.
I vote for Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay, David started the vote. Ghost.
I will also vote for Ghost of Tsushima.
Of course, it's getting my vote for everything. So
Blake,
I am sticking with Paper Mario.
Ozzy on the Paper Mario. Yep. Steve T's not here. Sam.
Pop me down for Hades.
Hades. Chris. Stick with
I'll go
Cyberjunk.
with Cyberjunk.
Okay. TJ.
I gotta go back to Hades, man. Like, that's so good.
Yeah. Donovan.
Hades. I think the game looks awesome.
Uh-oh. Bill.
Well, I think Hades looks good. I think Ghost of Tsushima, what they did, I want to pronounce it right, Kurosawa mode.
Yeah.
That to me is the most significant thing that's happened in video game art this year, to me at least. So it's Ghost of Tsushima for me. It has to be.
What's funny is I don't really like playing in Kurosawa mode.
Yeah, it's
But
just a
amazing
filter.
just that it exists.
It's cool that it exists, but I don't
But
really
it
enjoy
can
it.
exist on every game you play on the computer. It's literally just a filter.
It's a filter, yeah.
It snaps on and off instantly when you're playing on the PlayStation. It's a filter, and when you're in
It is
HDR,
still
everything
has-
the dynamic range is still at 1,000%,
Still
so it
has
looks
my
nothing like the movies, which were
I
all
mean-
filmed in daylight. I mean, nothing against the game design itself or whatever, but so much of the game is such a wide dynamic range. And
I would not use
on it looks nothing
Kurosawa
like the
mode
movie.
as a selling point for the art style. Like to me,
'Cause it's just a filter.
it's another thing. Like the art style by itself without Kurosawa mode is impressive.
I agree
And
that it looks
combat
great
is
even
incredibly
without it.
difficult
That's
when
the
it's
thing that
turned
sticks out
on.
in
Makes
my
it harder to
mind
play.
Josh.
I love sticks with Spiritfarer, man. I think Thunder Lotus did a great job with the art on that game.
Okay, so Bernie Sanders. Okay. Spiritfarer. Okay, so that means we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3 votes for Hades, and 1, 2, 3, 4 votes for Ghost, and I haven't voted yet. So if I vote for Hades, it'll create a runoff vote.
I will start yelling too. I will start yelling
I just wanted to say-
violently.
You know what?
Let's just-
I'll change my vote to Hades.
Oh shit!
Your vote means something. I don't think
Oh,
Tsushima. I don't think
Gosh,
Tsushima
all
deserves
those
the
New
award.
World guides are gonna be so fun and exciting for you to.
Hades,
I'm-
Hades. Okay. Ozzy,
What's the vote?
it's really down to Hades or Ghost of Tsushima at this point.
I'm gonna say, oh shoot.
Come on,
That's a tough
look,
choice.
Hades
I'll
looks
swap
great,
mine
but
to
it's just fucking drawings. They're just
Wow.
goddamn
Not
fucking
just
drawings.
fucking drawing.
Get bent.
Wow, man.
Get
Bring
bent.
it-
Get
I
bent.
don't think you're helping
Get
your case,
bent.
Blake. I don't think
Fuck
you're helping
it.
your case.
You're really
Fuck it.
And I
not.
vote to Hades.
Yeah, fuck all y'all.
You just blew this whole thing up, man.
A forest
Get that.
in Ghost of Tsushima
Ben.
doesn't
I'm
look
gonna
much
say
different
Ben,
to
Ben,
Red
are
Dead.
you kidding me? Are
He
you
was so
fucking kidding
close.
me?
You just
Are
blew
you
this
fucking
up.
kidding me?
Blake,
No.
you did this. You did this, Blake.
No.
Just
Fuck that.
Guy.
Hey, wasted my fucking breath on you Philistines. Jesus fucking Christ. You really
Oh
gonna tell
my
me
God.
Hades is a better art direction than fucking
I look.
It's not
a game as
graphics.
breathtaking as Ghost of Tsushima? Ah, man. Whatever.
Ghost of Tsushima has better graphics for sure.
It looks better. It's a
Okay,
better
so
art
I'm just
style
gonna
all
make sure
over.
I got these votes right. Sam Hades, Chris Hades, TJ Hades, Donovan Hades, Josh Hades, and Ozzy Hades.
Yes, correct.
Greg Ghost, David Ghost, Blake Ghost, Bill Ghost, right? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, this is one of those times where we really wish Steve T was here, huh?
Wonder what he vote for.
Okay, well, I voted for Ghost of Tsushima, but apparently Hades won.
Hit the gavel.
I don't know.
I
what to tell
tried.
you. I don't know what to tell you. I
They're
said
both good
disappointing.
games. They're
most
both good
impressive
games.
Leaf tech I've ever seen.
I don't know.
Anyway, congratulations to Hades. They won our best art style of 2020 here at Shacknews. Barely.
time for the main event.